Hello, my little flowers. Today's adventure takes us to the Orlando Brick Convention 2024 at the Osceola Heritage Park located in Kissimmee, Florida. Now, this is the second year this convention has come into town, so of course we had to be there and check it out. So let's go. Mike the Bee, the music. So like I said, this is the second year the convention has come to town. And so we went the first year it started, so we kind of knew what to expect this time around, and we came prepared. Now, I did have one little gripe when we got there, and it's just a little one, but this is on the facility itself. So the first year we were there, we walked in. I usually wear a Loungefly bag, wherever I go. Okay, whatever. So apparently the convention center has adopted a policy that there's a no bag policy. So we got there and was told that I couldn't bring in the bag. The only thing you can bring in is a small clutch or a small clear bag type container if you have to have something with you. Now, this was not posted anywhere on the site for the event. And then when I went to go look on the Osceola Heritage Park website, it is there, but you have to do some searching for it. It lists backpacks, and then when you get to bag policy is where it gives you the actual dimensions and that sort of thing. This obviously was a change since last year, because last year I did wear a Loungefly bag. It wasn't a big deal. There was nothing said. You do go through security. You go through a whole metal detector and everything. I don't know what brought on the no bag policy, but it's there. So if you are going to an event in the future at the Osceola Heritage Park, just know that you're not allowed any bags, at least in the event center. I don't know about any of the other venues, but definitely for the event center, there's no bags. So other than that, we got through security. We were waiting to get inside the actual convention center floor to kind of start exploring and see what this year's event brought. One of the first kiosks we came upon was Bricker Builds. Now, they are returning from last year, and they're always a joy to visit because they just have so many cool builds and designs kind of on display for you to see, but there's also to purchase. So their tagline is, Bricker Builds let you build life-size replicas from bricks. Owner Christopher Gerhardt launched Bricker Builds back in 2020. All of the massive sculptures are modeled in a 3D program. Then they are converted into a detailed brick sculpture using the proprietary brick software. Now, you can go to the website and view their online gallery. Originally, the way they had it set up is you would go on there, you would view something, and if you liked it, you could purchase the instructions and then the brick list that you would need to build that particular design. They have since updated it over the times, and so now most of them come with the option of either buying the bricks and the instructions like you would from the Lego store. Some are design only, some are the design or the bricks and the instructions. So you have options depending on what your budget is. If you have a bunch of bricks yourself already at your house, of course the cheaper option would go to just get the design and then build it out of your bricks that you already have. You can go to different websites and you can buy bricks. So if that turns out to be cheaper, whatever, if you find something that you really, really want to do, you really want to get and build yourself from their collection, they have several options to choose from. So while we were perusing all the different builds at their little display, I did notice they had the Eye of Agamotto, which is from Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange from the MCU, I like when they introduced him into the, Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know, I just kind of gravitated towards him. I still don't know what it is about the character or the story that it just pulls me in, and I really, really enjoy it, but I have not seen a whole lot of Doctor Strange merchandise. He's definitely not one of the fan favorites. He's not one of the top ones, but I love him. He's one of mine. So I have a Loungefly bag. I have a hoodie, little things I can find, I have them. So when I saw it, I had to have this. So we definitely grabbed it so I could build it at home. Now, this is a 388 brick build. Now, they do say it's intermediate, although when I was building it, it felt to be a little bit more challenging than expected. For me, the toughest part was attaching kind of the necklace part that holds the eye itself. It is their first wearable build from Bricker Builds, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, like I did do it. Like it was, when I got it done and got it put together, it's amazing. It's a wonderful addition to my collection here at my house. And I mean, I'm so glad that we purchased it and I did it. I got it done. So just check them out. They have all kinds of amazing builds on their website that I'm sure that you or somebody you know is going to absolutely love. So a builder that we talked to last year, Maddie Stack, had returned this year. Now her Insta is For the Love of Legos, so if you want to check her out, I know that's where you can find her. She has some really, really fun kind of portrait designs of famous faces. There are a few, I think they were new this year, I don't remember seeing them last year, of famous celebrities, and they were very, very well done. One of her other pieces that really stood out to me that was new to me this year, I don't remember seeing it last year at all, was her pneumatic village. It was very cute. It was all the numbers, and they were like the little like houses or apartments or whatever you want to call them. But it was just different and interesting. It was one of her MOCs, and I just found it to be very, very fun to look at. Okay, what did he just say? I don't know, I think he's making up stuff now. What? I don't understand what he just said. All right, so we're gonna have to give a little vocabulary lesson here for those of you who are not into Lego and like the world of Lego. So MOC, or my own creation, is something a builder makes, and it's literally their own creation. Now it could be anything, literally anything, and that's kind of the fun with Lego. You can build what inspires you. Whether it's an IP that's already out there and you want to put your own spin on it, or it's just something totally creative and out of this world that nobody's ever seen before. So that's what MOC is, my own creation. Now another kind of acronym that you'll see is what I'm wearing. It's AFOL, and it's Adult Fan of Lego. So everybody, you know, Lego is one of those things that before it was kind of like, it's a kid's toy. It's something kids do, to kill time, to be creative, whatever. Well, it has exploded into this wonderful, wonderful world, and adults have really embraced it. Some use it, for meditation. Some use it to calm like PTSD, other mental kind of issues or whatever, and some do it just for fun. So, I mean, so those are your two words that you gotta remember during this vlog: MOC, my own creation, and AFOL, Adult Fan of Lego. So next I stumbled upon AC Pin. Now we saw him last year, and I kind of did some research on him last year, and he returned this year with his Master Gallery. He of course brought along his dioramas of Star Wars, which is one of the things he's kind of known for. He does a very, very good job. Like, they're so detailed, and they're huge, like they're ginormous. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're a Lego fan, or you're just a fan, like they're really, really, they're very detailed, like I said. Like, he just puts so much like work, creativity into his dioramas. They're amazing. If you ever get a chance to see his stuff, definitely stop and check him out. Now, one of the things AC Pin is extremely known for is his botanicals. Now, the stuff he makes from Lego that looks like flowers and plants is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I mean, to be able to look at something and say, okay, I can use these pieces and I can create, like, I don't know, a lily, a rose, a sunflower, a floral spray. Like, it's insane. He is actually worldwide famous. Like, this guy has stuff at the Lego house. It's crazy. But he's a very down-to-earth guy. We talked to him last year. Didn't really have a chance to talk to anybody this year that much. There was a lot to see, a lot to do, so we were on the move. But he's a very nice guy. He does amazing work. Look him up, AC Pin. You won't be disappointed. So something new for AC Pin that he had this year was his kind of what I called his fantasy line. He had this really nice, intricate kind of dragon sculpture. It was really, really nice. But he had wearable like Lego crowns. They were stunning. And then he also had the jewelry box to go with it, and his whole setup, like it just looked amazing. Like I want a Lego crown. Like who doesn't? Now, what's a convention without shopping? And there is a good bit of vendor shopping at this event. Now, you have like the Bricker builds, and they have, the builds that they do themselves, kind of like their MOCs and that sort of thing. Now, there are vendors, though, that carry actual Lego sets. Now, there are newer sets, retired sets, hard to find sets. They also have tons of minifigures. You talk about minifigure galore, they've got them. So if you're ever looking for anything super, super special and you don't have like a local store or shop that you can go to, you need to get to one of these conventions, because more than likely somebody has it and you'll be able to find it through them or through a friend. So speaking of local shops, so when we were in Atlanta visiting family, there's the Atlanta Brick Company that we learned about. And we did stop by the shop they had there in Atlanta, and it was very cute. And the people there are super nice, super informative, and super helpful when it comes to anything Lego. Well, at the convention last year, they did say that they were opening a shop here in the Orlando area, calling it Orlando Brick Company. So we waited. It was delayed. There was some back and forth. Well, I'm happy to say that the shop is finally open. So if you happen to be in the Orlando area or the Atlanta area, check out the Orlando Brick Company. They have pretty much everything you can think of. Like, again, they carry all kinds of sets, loose pieces. They can find it. Like if you are looking for something specific, more than likely they can find it if it's in existence. So check them out. We love them. They're amazing. Orlando Brick Company. So there were some celebrity sightings while we were at this convention, which again, we just didn't have the time to kind of stop and chat and that sort of thing. One of the people I want to talk about is Patrick Durham. He did have a master gallery. Now you may recognize him from the Lego Masters Season 3 Team Grand Pappies. Now, when you see him in person, because I didn't really recognize him when I first saw him, because he was decked out in like the First Order Star Wars gear. So apparently he's a huge Star Wars fan. He seems to always be, I guess, in the First Order attire. And so a lot of his builds are based off of Star Wars. So, and they're mega builds, they're huge. The things he had on display at the convention this year were ginormous. Very impressive, very detailed. Again, this guy, like, you can see why he was on Lego Masters. You can see why he is just really good at what he does. And I'm sure he loves it as well. Like, most of these people do this as a hobby, and he excels at the hobby. So upon us walking around, we ran into the Brick Commander. Now this guy loves history, and he will talk to you history all day long. Like, he really knows his stuff. And so he's taken that and his love of Lego and kind of combined the two to do some really cool kind of recreations of different points of history. In his display this year, he had a lot of like wartime recreations, which was really cool because like some of them where he would have where there'd be like an artist kind of painting what they think kind of happened or what it might have looked like at certain battles, and he recreated that with Lego. So that was really, really cool to see somebody who was actually like doing something like that. Because it wasn't just, okay, Lego, which is a lot of fantasy and fiction. This is like real-time stuff that actually happened with us, with American history, with world history. And to see it kind of brought to life with Lego, which is really, really cool. He also had some human history stuff, like times throughout human history. There's even he had the crucifixion of Jesus in there, which was kind of neat to see that in like Lego. Even if you don't believe in certain things or whatever, like to see the stuff kind of recreated with these little bricks and little pieces is just crazy. It's amazing and it's crazy. Now there were two theme parks this year. One I believe we saw last year, and they had a massive crowd. We couldn't get to that one. It was insane. But there was another guy. His name was Kevin Zevchik, and he also had a theme park that was really really cool. It was full of all kinds of little details. Of course, he had a huge kind of Harry Potter roller coaster in the center of it. He had all kinds of other little things, like just trying to sit there and look at the whole thing for a while. I mean, we would have been there forever. But it was really neat to see all the moving parts and kind of just like this compact Lego theme park. Now, kind of mixed in with all this, it's what they call the MOC Gallery. And so that was just all sorts of people who may not be quote unquote famous from their Lego building, but they were like really, really good at what they did. And so there was all kinds of different, like just different my own creations, MOCs to view that were on display, people had done. And like, I mean, there are some very creative people, and to be able to do this with the Lego bricks and like the time it takes to build these things, the money it takes to build these things is just insane. And the fact that this is their thing, their niche, and they're sharing with us is amazing. So I'm telling you, go to these conventions, even if you're not a huge Lego fan, you'll see some crazy, amazing things, and it's just a lot of fun. And speaking of galleries, we did walk by the Art on the Block. This was building art one brick at a time, Lego art for your home or business. EJ Bacon III, he is the artist behind these awesome, awesome pieces. He does have a website where you can actually contact him, and he will do special pieces, whether you want them for your home, your office, give away as gifts or whatever. And as you can see, he is super, super talented, and some of these pieces are quite large. So I'm sure he does different sizing. Of course, check out his website, and if you're interested, give him a contact. So one of the final things we saw was Tom Jacobson's Master Gallery. Now you can find him on Instagram at Arc Brick Studio. He does consider himself a retired AFOL. His specialties are Star Wars, castles, and architecture. He had a huge Star Wars diorama in the middle of his master gallery. It was quite impressive. Just again, detail, detail, detail. All just the working pieces, and like you could walk around at 360. There was so much into it. If you're a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you would be flipping out if you saw this in person, as my partner was. Otherwise, I just found it to be impressive, just overall. He did have some fantasy builds, and so these were kind of like what ifs. So he took like the Star Wars kind of characters in canon, and he said, okay, now there was a certain architect that he really, really enjoyed and followed. And so he took their design of architecture, and he said, okay, if these Star Wars characters were in a house, and they lived in like this type of house, what type of house what would it look like? So that's what he did. He made their house. And so he had these houses, and they weren't small either. Like they were a good size house. For kind of each of these different like scenarios that he kind of put together and created, and they were amazing. Like they were so beautifully done, and they completely fit into like the Star Wars, the character's personality. Obviously they weren't from the Star Wars universe. I mean, maybe they could have been, who knows, but yeah, so it kind of looked like, okay, if they were in what I would consider a modern time, and then what would their house look like? So that was actually really cool to see. And of course, his other love was castles, and he had some really, really nice kind of castle pieces on display. He had a fun little kind of like shout out to Lord of the Rings, which was kind of fun in the beginning, and then he had just some wonderful, wonderful castle pieces. What I found to be impressive was like the stained glass elements. Now, I know there's like some glass pieces you can get Lego-wise, and to make it look like glass, and in this case stained glass, but just the colors he was able to use, the way he had things kind of like, set, and I think he had them lit up, but it was, again, another just amazing Lego artist with his, it was just amazing, just very impressive. Well, guys, that's going to do it. That was our trip out to the Osceola Heritage Park for the 2024 Orlando Brick Convention. It was fun. Like, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot this year. I know they said it was supposed to be double the size as it was last year. That I really can't confirm, because to me it felt like it was roughly the same size as far as like the amount of things on display and vendors and whatnot. Maybe it was. I can't say for sure. We did have a problem at one point with the people just kind of like standing and not really kind of like moving along for others to kind of enjoy the MOCs and just the different displays. So I don't know, maybe there's something they can do to kind of help with that next year. But otherwise than that, we had a great time. We always do at these LEGO conventions. They're a lot of fun. If you've never been to one, find one. I'm sure there's one in your local area somewhere. Go to it. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. But as always, thank you for following along on these little adventures of mine. And as always, I am Mike the Bee. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm just going to be you be too. I'll see you guys later. Bye.